This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
For those of us who love the outdoors, it's probably safe to say that we all want just one more toy. That if we can just get that one more, then we'll be content. The Apostle Paul wrote about being content in his letter to the church at Philippi. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, Paul says, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." Now, many times when we hear that verse, we hear it as a battle cry or a source of encouragement to go and get the job done. But when Paul wrote it, he was talking about being content in Christ. Whether he had a lot or whether he had a little, his contentment was found in the Lord. I want to encourage you this week, whatever you're facing in life, whether you feel like you're full or whether you feel like you have very little, find your contentment in the Lord. If we look to the world to try to fill us, we will always be empty. Only God, through His Son, Jesus Christ, can keep us content and keep us full. Thanks for watching this week. We still pray that you are healthy and safe. We love you all. Hope you have a blessed day and a blessed week. And always remember, keep shooting straight.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Tell you what, we're going to open up the phone lines so you guys can give us a call here at 615-737-7767. And as we're kind of waiting on those calls, Randall, just what's been going on the last few days in the turkey woods? You've been after them. What have you been seeing the last few days?
Well, it's about over. I mean, as far as the gobbling and gobblers with hens and strutting, where I'm hunting.
Yeah.
That don't mean that 10 miles, you know.
Right, any area can be different than another.
But these old gobblers are getting together now in the morning, and me and a friend of mine went to a new place, I don't know, a couple of 3 days ago, and they were there. We had 3 gobblers over here maybe 400 yards from us, you know, and they was gobbling down through there. And then right in the corner where we was watching, there was 3 in there. 2 of these over here went right over to the old big gobbler there on the river. And it wasn't but a few minutes, they flew out and plumb across this field and all the way over to where them other 3 gobblers were. And that's what you're getting a lot now.
Yeah.
The last one I killed, 2 days before I killed him, he stood down there and gobbled his brains out till a gobbler got to him. So 2 days later, I went in there and hadn't heard nothing, you know. So at 3:55 exactly, 2 or 3 crows come over, and I got them stirred up, so everything was in there going off. And then I done like 6 gobbles in a row. And in 5 minutes, that bird was on the ground, 3 feet from my decoy. You know,
There he was, huh?
Yeah. And then yesterday evening, I was hunting the place. You got to know where they roost. We was talking about a while ago, and I know how these birds come in and out of this holler, you know. So I ain't doing nothing but gobbling every 15, 20 minutes, and they're in and out, hens and stuff all evening, you know. So right there, 5 minutes before shooting time was over, I see this old big bird come in, but I couldn't see his beard, you know, so I didn't want to shoot him. And he goes off down there. Well, I'm watching these others coming in. Boy, then, well, you know how an old heavy gobbler sounds when he takes off. I thought he was going to tear trees down. You know, he's just right there. I was in there this morning, but they didn't gobble. There was 2 of them. They didn't gobble. They just flew down and right back.
Went to feeding, didn't they?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, we got a couple callers here. Who do we have on the one? Mary, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you for calling. How can we help you tonight?
I'm just curious if where would I get my license if I want to fish?
Well, there's several routes you can go. I don't know if like sporting goods stores, if they're all open yet, but you can get them at local sporting goods stores. Walmart, you can pick them up, and different retailers like that, Academy Sports. but I usually just get mine online. You can go to tnwildlife.org, and it'll link you over to the site to be able to purchase them online. But really, the easiest way to do it is just online. They'll send you your license in the mail, and you can print off a temporary right then when you buy it.
Okay. And also, let me ask you, how much would it cost me?
For just fishing, Randall, at $38. Am I right in saying that?
Is it that much?
I think it's $36 or $38. I could be wrong.
For a year.
It is, and it is for a year.
Is
Yes.
that a combination, hunting and fishing?
I believe it is. I believe that's small game and fishing. You're going to get the two together. And to be honest, I'm just not as familiar with it because I've had a sportsman's license for so long, and the prices have changed a little here or there. But a little less than $40 that will cover you for a year.
Okay, but if you don't hunt and you just like to fish, is that cheaper?
It's not. Whenever you get the fishing license, you're going to get a combination small game and fishing license together. That's just the way that they come here.
Okay, thank you so much.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for calling.
Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you.
You too. Taylor how are you doing tonight? Taylor?
Good.
Hey, how are you?
Yes, sir.
How can we help you tonight?
So I got a question. If you shoot a deer and the deer runs off into a neighboring farm field and it says no trespassing and they do not let you on their land to retrieve that deer, what do you go about to retrieve that deer? How do you get it back?
Well, the best route to go if you get to that point with somebody is to contact your local warden. Sometimes they can go and contact the other property owner, and the other property owner may let the warden go over there with you and get your deer. That's usually kind of your last option on that. But truth be known, if they refuse to let the warden come over and get it either, you cannot go get it. That is how the law reads in Tennessee. So if they refuse to let you go over and refuse to let wildlife officers go over, you literally have to leave it there. That's the way the law reads.
Okay, and if you shoot a buck and that happens, do you still have to use up your buck tag?
No, I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't. No. You hate to see that kind of situation, and it's been very rare that I've ever heard of that. I have heard of it happening, but it's rare. But no, I would not. If I didn't have the animal to tag, which is when you're legally supposed to tag it, I wouldn't tag it.
Okay.
There's a tag before you drag, and there's a no tag, no drag.
Yeah, that's right.
No bag.
You're not dragging, you're not tagging.
Yeah.
But, well, great call. Thank you for calling tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Donald, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. You?
Doing great. Thank you for calling. How can we help you tonight?
Got a question.
Sure.
I've tried to find out about these Asian carp. Can't never get a hold of nobody at the TWRA. I was wondering if you could get a fish biologist on there one night and they can explain to us what's going on with these Asian carp.
We have talked to a few people within the agency trying to get somebody lined up to maybe come down one night and talk with you guys, or maybe go out and film something with them if they would allow us to do that. So we're trying to get that worked out as we speak. It's a tough situation there because mostly there's not a lot of new information, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're battling it the same ways. Some things have been fairly effective. The sirens at the dams and commercial fishing has helped a lot, but it's really just kind of been the same story over and over. So there's just not a lot of new information out there right now that I know of anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem at all. Thank you for calling.
All right.
All right, guys, let's go on over and do this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is being sponsored by Phoenix Custom Quality Rods right here in the great state of Tennessee. You guys can call Jim Brewer at 931-213-1455 or check them out at phoenixrods.com and see all their new models. Get some ordered and put them in your hands and you will see what we love about them. All right, guys. Randall's got a little tip for you tonight. We've kind of hit on this just a little bit, but there's a particular call this time of year that we use that we don't usually use throughout the rest of the season. So what is that, Randall?
Gobbling.
The gobble.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to do on open weekend, or anything, not in most cases, but in this last week or two, it can be a very effective call.
Yeah, that's my favorite call right now.
Do you do hen yelps, anything like that right now? Do you basically just use a gobble for the most part?
No, because hens are still talking. You know, they don't just quit living, you know, just because we think they're supposed
that's right.
to.
And they're talkative anyway.
Oh yeah.
So,
but right now, if you hear these old gobblers, you hear one over here and one over here, you know, they're still in the same place that they've been the whole year. And they've been getting together the whole year. You know, a lot of people say that they never did break up. Well, a lot of times they don't.
Right, because if they got enough hens, they're just going to stay together.
Yeah, you can have 3 or 4 gobblers there, and they stay together all year long. But if you can get between them, and by now, if you've been hunting, you ought to know,
where
they're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
And I start off right there first thing in the morning, because they're going to get together. You know, just get right there in the middle of.
So you're basically just trying to call them all back together?
If you want to kill a turkey, now if you want to call hen stuff, you should have done that.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, 3 weeks ago.
That's right. Well, guys, I tell you what, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll have some more Southern Woods and Waters.